Hello everyone. I want to begin by welcoming you all to the launch of the Parenting Cavan strategy for parenting needs in County Cavan. Special welcome also to Brendan Smith TD and Lee Smith TD, Cathaoirleach Sarah Riley, our elected representatives from Cavan County Council, members of CIPSI and representatives from TUSLA, Family Resource Centres, Cavan County Council and the HSE. My name is Terry Hyland and I am the CEO of Cavan County Local Development, which is the local development company for County Cavan. I will act as MC this evening and I will introduce our key speakers and take you through our agenda. We have a fantastic lineup of contributors this evening. First up, we will have a contribution from Minister Roderick O'Gorman, followed by a testimonial from one of our Parenting Cavan participants. Following that, Minister Heather Humphreys will say a few words, and then I will introduce Fimber Fitzpatrick of Business Improvement Solutions, who will brief us all on the strategic objectives that we hope to achieve over the next 5 years. Finally, Cathaoirleach Sarah Riley will say a few words and officially launch the strategy. While the Cathaoirleach will provide the background on Parenting Cavan and the supports that are provided under the programme, I just want to say that the parenting training programmes we deliver currently under Parenting Cavan have been developed by a charity called Parents Plus, and they're designed to help parents deal with a range of issues as their children grow up from early years to adolescence. The programme is also supported by an expert advisory group made up of key stakeholders, including Cavan County Local Development, TUSLA, the ETB, CIPSI, the HSE, the Family Resource Centres and Cavan County Childcare Committee. Outside of that, I also just want to say that the strategy was funded under the LEADER programme, and I want to acknowledge our partners, Cavan County Council and Cavan Local Action Group, in rolling out LEADER funding across County Cavan. In attendance tonight to support the launch, we have one of our leader partners represented by John Donoghue, Chief Officer from Cavan County Council. And so now I will introduce our first contribution this evening from Roderick O'Gorman, Minister for Children, Equality, Disability, Integration and Youth. Now, unfortunately, Minister O'Gorman couldn't be with us here in person tonight, but with the advantages of technology, he has sent us a pre-recorded message, which we will play for you now. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm delighted to be speaking to you all today. I'd like to thank Cavan County Local Development for inviting me to say a few words at the launch of the Parenting Cavan strategy for parenting needs in County Cavan. We know that all parents will need support at some point in their child's life, and that supporting parents is one of the most effective ways to improving outcomes for children. Throughout the pandemic, we've all gleaned a new appreciation for how important it is to support the foundations of our society, and these challenging times have reinforced just how crucial parents are. As our schools and other services were impacted by public health measures, parents came under a renewed pressure, an intense pressure. As Minister supporting the young and marginalised, it is at the very centre of my department's work. This is why I'm very happy to see the progress that has been achieved by Parenting Cavan and the launch of this strategy today. The importance of the family for positive child outcomes is well evidenced, and we know the family unit is the primary source for the promotion and protection of children's health and well-being. My department is leading on the development of a national model of parenting support services, working with the HSE, TUSLA and representative groups from the community and voluntary sector to determine how we can best meet parents' needs. Parenting Cavan provides free positive parenting programs to all parents in Cavan. The collaboration of the Cavan Parenting Initiative, it works with various statutory and non-statutory agencies, and it's a great example of working together to improve services for families. This strategy presents a clear direction for Parenting Cavan in identifying the key challenges and strategic objectives for the area. Through this strategy, we'll be able to improve parenting and support mechanisms in County Cavan and raise awareness of participation and evidence-based programmes. I'm sure that many families have benefited from the work you've all done so far, and many more families will experience these benefits as you realise the ambitions of this strategy. And I look forward to hearing more about the impact of the Parenting Cavan strategy, and I really wish you all the very best of luck as you continue to work collaboratively to support parents across the country, across the county. Thanks very much.
So thank you, Minister, for that contribution. We really appreciate Minister O'Gorman's time in putting together that video piece for us. As outlined in the strategy, one of the objectives is to secure a sustainable funding model for Parenting Cavan. And following tonight, we'll be linking with officials at Minister O'Gorman's department to see how we can pursue that objective further. Our next speaker now has also provided us with a pre-recorded message. Her name is Sinead Archbold, and she has availed of a number of training programs delivered through Parenting Cavan. As a parent, she's had to bring her children to attend some outdoor activities this evening, but she sends her apologies and wishes she could be here. Sinead is going to give us an insight of her experience of participating on a range of training courses and how Parenting Cavan has been able to support her as a parent. So on that now, we'll play Sinead's video piece for you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sinead. I'm a mum of 2 children. My son is 4 and my daughter is 10. Parenting Cavan have been a lifeline to me, especially in the last couple of months with the pandemic. Being a single mum on my own within the house with really no other support. Parenting Cavan have been so good. They provided me with a laptop so I could do the Parents Plus courses. I have attended 2 courses for the Parents Plus, the older children and the younger children. The courses themselves have been fantastic. For myself, personally, I felt even chatting to other parents and relaying your story with them really was fantastic, and knowing that you weren't alone. I know myself that I was getting into a rut when I was at home. Well, we still are at home, but when I was at home with the children full time every day, and things did get out of control, I found the Parenting Plus programs really really good, because they gave me a little bit of confidence back again, the techniques, and sharing with the group, what was happening during the week, and giving me back the sense of control. I found that really, really good. And obviously the facilitators were they were excellent.
So thank you, Sinead, for that. We send our gratitude to Sinead, because we really appreciate those past participants who have participated on Parenting Cavan and have got real value for it. So for Sinead to volunteer, to give her testimonial of her past experiences, hopefully it will motivate others to participate on programs. So thank you, Sinead, for taking your time to prepare that for us this evening. So now our next contribution is from Minister Heather Humphreys. And as previously stated, the Parenting Cavan strategy was funded under the LEADER programme, which itself is funded by Minister Humphreys' Department of Rural and Community Development. While the Parenting Cavan training participant support packs that some of you would have received as part of your invitation tonight, they were prepared in collaboration with the TOOS initiative, which is also an initiative funded under the Minister's Department of Social Protection. Now, unfortunately, the Minister couldn't attend in person, but we were delighted when the Minister agreed to say a few words this evening through a pre-recorded message, which we will play for you now. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I'm very happy to be able to send you this message as you launch the Parenting Cavan strategy for parenting needs in County Cavan. And I very much welcome the work of the Parenting Cavan initiative, providing free, positive parenting courses throughout the county. This initiative is a great example of how agencies work together to provide a local, needs-led support that benefits parents, families and communities. And it would be difficult to overstate the importance of the family in ensuring positive outcomes for our children. Research has shown that one of the most effective ways of supporting children is actually through supporting their parents. And that's why it's so important that we all work together to support parents, and these supports can take many forms. Being a parent is one of the most rewarding roles in life, although it is not a role without challenges. Parenting programs offer an effective support that provides parents with useful information tools and strategies to help manage challenges as they arise. The provision of evidence-based parenting plus programs provides parents in Cavan with an accessible, community-based support. These programs lead to a variety of positive outcomes such as increased parental confidence, reduced parental stress, and reduced emotional and behavioural problems in children. The Parenting Cavan strategy sets out a clear approach to building on your achievements so far, extending the benefits of these parenting programs to more and more families. You have clearly set a strong foundation for the future of Parenting Cavan, and as your Minister and local TD, I will continue to support you in whatever way I can.
Now, as I said before, we really appreciate Minister Humphreys taking time out of her schedule to prepare that pre-recorded message for us, and she's touched on a lot of the key points there that Parenting Cavan, strives to achieve or endeavours to achieve for many families and parents across County Cavan. So, I suppose next up we have Fimber Fitzpatrick of Business Improvement Solutions. Fimber was contracted to develop and write the Parenting Cavan strategy for us, and through the support of the Parenting Cavan Expert Advisory Group, as well as through extensive stakeholder consultation and consideration of current policy, a clear roadmap has now been set for Parenting Cavan. Fimber will give you a brief outline of the objectives as set out in the strategy. So Fimber, I'll pass over the virtual podium to you now. Thank you, Fimber.
Thanks, Terry. I'll just share my screen. Can everyone see the screen, folks? Yeah. Okay, just to reiterate what Terry was saying about the consultation, this strategy was informed by a wide-ranging stakeholder consultation which involved a questionnaire which was completed by 224 parents across County Cavan, and also in semi-structured interviews with over 30 stakeholder organisations involved in the statutory, community and voluntary sector across the county. So it's very much a parent-driven strategy. The voice of the parent is prominent within the strategy, and the voice of the stakeholders across the county is also very prominent. So we're setting out 6 strategic objectives. The wider report, which is available through NULA, looks at the methodology that we did around the strategy, the strategic context, some of the findings from the consultation, which helped us to shape the strategic objectives. But I'm just going to focus in on the presentation around those key 6 strategic objectives that we identified and agreed as part of the finalisation of the strategy. So strategic objective 1 is around ensuring effective governance and operations are in place. And I think this is a really important one, considering Minister Humphreys talked about a really solid foundation of an infrastructure for Parenting Cavan to move forward. And I think what we identified was that through the stakeholder analysis and also through the parental consultations, that the current host, which is Cavan County Local Development, it's perceived as a really honest broker, has a county-wide reach in relation to the community, voluntary and statutory sector. So the finding there was that the initiative would continue to be hosted by CCLD, and on the back of that, Parenting Cavan will seek compliance with all the regulatory requirements under CCLD. The expert advisory group that has been an integral part of the development of Parenting Cavan over the last 3 to 4 years, what we're seeking to do there is formalise that steering group for Parenting Cavan, and to look at the representation of that expert advisory group, which currently comprises of community, voluntary, statutory and civic organisations. And one of the things that we've identified in terms of a recommendation was to maybe look at some representation from parents to get that peer input in relation to identification of needs from a parental perspective. And also schools and teachers was another area that we identified as being important to have that voice within the expert advisory group. So that's the objective. The work is now to meet that objective around the formation and the formalization of that expert advisory group, which will be the foundation of the initiative moving forward. Strategic objective 2 is the financial objectives in relation to the sustainability. It is quite an ambitious strategic plan with significant scale and scope of need identified and evidenced through the consultation. So at the moment, the staffing resource is a part-time development officer. So given the ambitious nature of the plan, I think the work is around seeking to develop and expand that role of the development officer, but also the support mechanisms around that in terms of resources for marketing, digital media, website development. One of the things we identified through the consultation was a relatively low awareness level of parenting Cavan, and I think that this strategic objective is around securing the financial resources to increase that awareness. The funding long term of parenting Cavan, we feel potentially sits best within that TUSLA HSE environment, and TUSLA have existing funding and currently support the parenting Cavan. But I think looking at the sustainability of long-term funding, what's really going to be important for TUSLA and the HSE is that the impact of parenting Cavan and the parenting programs is identified in terms of the difference that it's actually making to the lives of parents. And Mr. Humphreys referenced that in terms of the well-being, the reduced parental stress, and we'll come to that later on in relation to another strategic objective. In the immediate term, I think there's potential funding opportunities available through the Healthy Ireland Fund, through TUSLA, and also looking at philanthropic organisations out there that have supported local development initiatives in the past as well. There's a What Works Network Supports Grant within the CEDI, and also the potential for the Public Community Services Programme. So the work here in terms of achieving this objectives is ongoing. I was speaking to Nuala yesterday, and there's already applications at the formation and submission stage. So it really set off and a really set out their stall in terms of securing those financial resources. And I think the key point here is about the monitoring of performance against this objective needs to be based around a defined parenting Cavan budget as well. Strategic objective 3 is to look at improving parenting and parenting support mechanisms throughout the county. And I think that this is the key objective in terms of the whole ethos and philosophy of parenting Cavan. It's about improving parenting. It's about improving those support mechanisms that are available to parents. So how can we evidence this? What's the work going to look like moving forward for parenting Cavan? The quantifiable stuff will be around the number of parenting programs delivered. And I think over the last 18 months since COVID, I think there's been a significant increase in engagement and participation of parents through the online programs. And I think that's going to continue that, and potentially then looking at that blended mix moving forward of online and face-to-face programs and evaluating those programs, because I think what comes back from the parents and the participants will be really important in terms of shaping future development of such programs. The profile of where parents who complete the programs are actually from, making sure that there's a reach and accessibility county-wide. Cavan's a really big county, and with a strong domination of a number of towns. I think it's really important that the reach and the accessibility for parenting programs and for other parenting Cavan initiatives scopes the entire county. We mentioned there the impact of the Parenting Plus programs, and I think that it's important, especially in looking for funding from the statutory agencies, to demonstrate the difference that the programs are making. So some of the key indicators there we'll be looking at is around improved parenting skills, confidence, self-esteem, well-being, resilience, and also looking at child welfare outcomes in terms of the personal, social and emotional development of children as well. So there's a lot of work to be done in this particular objectives around building the evidence base that the interventions of Parenting Cavan and the programs make a difference to parents and children's lives. And also then looking at other parental supports. At the moment, Parenting Cavan is very much defined around the Parenting Plus programs and the delivery of those. What was coming out from the consultations is the niche and the potential opportunities available for Parenting Cavan to be that one-stop shop for parents across the county who not only come and participate in parenting programs, they look to Parenting Cavan for information, for advocacy, for signposting. What those programs and initiatives look like in the future for Parenting Cavan, that will be defined and shaped by the expert advisory group and parental representation on that expert advisory group to flesh out what future Parenting Cavan supports might look like, in addition to the core offering of the Parenting Plus programs. Strategic Objective 4 is a continuation really of the previous one, which was looking at the impact and the difference that programs and Parenting Cavan are making to the lives of parents. To do that, it's really important, if you're looking at that objective around county-wide reach, that one-stop shop for parents, it's to work collaboratively, build strategic relationships and bring together agencies across the county to coordinate the parenting programs and those supports. And some of the key results areas that we're looking at there is a memorandum of understanding between Parenting Cavan and the agencies whose staff are trained to deliver the Parents Plus program, who give their time to deliver those Parents Plus programs, that there's a memorandum of understanding to underpin that relationship to ensure that future delivery and programs can be scheduled, can be coordinated, can be mapped out in the confidence that there's significant and sufficient capacity to deliver those programs across the county. And it is quite an ambitious offering around the numbers that we want to reach over the period of this strategic plan. So it's really important to have the capacity in terms of the training, the training capacity to deliver on that. The other areas of collaboration will be looking at schools, the primary and secondary schools. I think that's a very influential access point for parents. And so I think the school and teachers should continue to be a priority stakeholder. And the potential then to train teachers as potential delivery agents of the Parents Plus program should also be explored. And I think teachers' endorsement of parents of the program might also attract more parents across the county to engage. And we mentioned previously about the formalization of the steering group from the current expert advisory group, and that collaboration within that steering group will be important in continually appraising and meeting new need for parents. The fifth strategic objective is around raising awareness of Parenting Cavan throughout the county. I would have mentioned it, I think in strategic objective 2 around this financial sustainability, expanding the role of the development officer currently. I think there's, running concurrent to that will be the drive to raise awareness about what Parenting Cavan offer. And I think that's how that can be done is looking at building the digital capacity through the bespoke section on the CCLD website, potentially using that as a mechanism for registration for Parents Plus program, and just that whole digitalization and optimizing technology in terms of reach and accessibility. Things like inviting sharing of website links with other agencies, optimizing social media presence, but also being cognizant of the fact that there still are schools, community centres and other outlets within the county that maybe aren't necessarily accessible digitally. So it's about making sure you've got that mix of promotion, digital, print, leaflets and posters available for raising awareness of the work of Parenting Cavan. And was the final strategic objective. I think the previous 5, very measurable in terms of governance, raising awareness, financial sustainability, and building those key relationships. I think strategic objective 6 is one that's going to be always in the background as such, but I think is equally a really important strategic objective, and this is around influencing policy and practice connected with parenting in Cavan. And I think this is one where we looked at the County Cavan area profile as part of the planning process. It's in the report, and that has identified, I suppose, deprivation in terms of some of the economic indicators. There's also a really important CIPSI young people's plan which is going from 2019 to 21. It's expiring at the end of this year. So that points to the need for a county-wide approach for parenting as well. So the area-based childhood program is a prevention and early intervention initiative targeting effective services to improve the outcome for children and families in areas of disadvantage, and that's delivered in 13 different areas across the country. I think 9 of those are actually in Dublin. So I think it's about potentially using the findings from the area profile, the needs that were identified through the parents and through the questionnaire and the consultations, to identify that there are significant unique circumstances in relation to Cavan through its profile, the size of the county, that requires and mandates particular supports to ensure that parents are effectively supported to build their capacity. So I think the lobby has already started with the representations made by the various politicians and ministers tonight, and I think that's something that's going to continue throughout the course of the strategic planning period, continually identifying the need and the requirements for ongoing support and sustainable funding for parenting Cavan, but also using the learning from the programs to influence and shape policy in the future. So that's it, folks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Finbar. So thank you, Finbar, for outlining those 6 key objectives within the strategy. And I suppose following tonight's launch, Parenting Cavan, with the support of the expert advisory group, we do intend to hit the ground running on this. So thanks, Finbar, for writing the strategy for us and for speaking here tonight. It's very much appreciated. So I suppose last but not least, our final speaker, Cathaoirleach Sarah O'Reilly, will take the virtual podium now to speak and officially launch the strategy. When asked would she be in a position to do this, she agreed with great enthusiasm, being a mother herself and understanding the great value that parenting programs can bring for parents across County Cavan, helping parents to deal with issues as children grow up through their various life stages, and how parents can react and support their children as they develop towards adulthood. So without further ado, I will now invite Cathaoirleach to speak to you all now. Thank you, Cathaoirleach.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you to CCLD and Nuala from Parenting Cavan for inviting me to launch this important meeting, parenting strategy for County Cavan today. I'd just like to recognise the contribution that Minister Humphreys made and Minister O'Gorman, and to welcome Brendan Smith TD and Niamh Smith TD if they have indeed joined us, and to welcome elected members as well. I know there are a few here. So Parenting Cavan was established in 2017 as an interagency and community-led approach in delivering evidence-based positive parenting programmes across County Cavan, with partners including CCLD, TUSLA, ETB, CIPSI, HSC, the Family Resource Centres and Cavan County Childcare Committee, who currently form an expert advisory group to Parenting Cavan. Parenting Cavan's focus was to create a one-stop shop for all parenting needs in Cavan. Currently, a very much appreciated but small amount of funding from the local TUSLA office, Healthy Ireland and the charity Orla's Guiding Light funds position of a part-time coordinator, being Nuala McKenna, whose role is to support the promotion and delivery of a range of parenting programs which were designed and developed by a charity organisation called Parents Plus. These parenting programs, from early years to adolescence, are delivered by a range of professionals such as social workers, public health nurses, and family support practitioners, and have proven benefits for families, including dealing with disadvantaged parental separation, disability, and mental health issues, as well as the normal day-to-day ups and downs of family life, of which many of us are all too familiar with, including myself, who had 4 boys in quick succession and also went through separation. So I am fully aware of the strains parents can be under. Parenting Cavan meet the costs associated with training the professionals and the costs of manuals which are available to all parents participating in the programme. They now have 26 trained facilitators throughout the county. Currently, Parenting Cavan are running an early years programme for parents of children aged 1 to 5 and Parenting When Separated course. Both programmes are fully subscribed to, so the need is there and it is real. With demand for the service growing, Parenting Cavan commissioned this strategy for parenting needs to provide clear focus to their work in the medium to long term. This strategy, together with consistent funding, will bring the security and confidence needed for future continued delivery in supporting Cavan parents' needs. You may have been lucky, like me, to receive a beautifully presented, embroidered and environmentally friendly Parenting Cavan gift bag in the post. This was made by the Little Redo Like New project, run by TUS. This is another example of the wonderful collaboration between the programmes and CCLD, who link up and work together so well. So thanks for the beautiful gift, and also to mention that every parent who takes part in Parenting Cavan programmes are sent a goodie bag full of treats, a lovely thoughtful gesture to help relax any nerves felt by participants. I want to say very well done to everyone involved in the delivery of this much needed service, Parenting Cavan, and thank you to the many people involved from its conception to today's strategy launch, which I know was a huge body of work to collate and pull together. However, this strategy should future-proof continued success for Parenting Cavan. Congratulations on your success to date and may it long continue into the future. So keep up the good work. It is my pleasure to announce the strategy for parenting needs in Cavan is now launched. And I just nearly had a heart attack because I thought my microphone was off. So well done to everybody.
Thank you, Garhirla. I know your microphone was clear, so no, it was brilliant. You can relax. So yeah, look, thank you, Garhirla, Sarah Riley, for that impassioned piece of words there. So look, yes, and look, as I said, we have a roadmap now for Parenting Cavan, and Finbar clearly outlined those 6 objectives on how we're going to get there. So yes, hopefully we can convince the relevant funders and the other stakeholders that Parenting Cavan has a legitimate role to play and has the potential to meet the complex and wide-ranging needs of parents across County Cavan. I suppose we hope that everyone in attendance tonight has got something of value from the launch, and we all hope that you will continue to work with us going forward to support parents and families in their times of need. So thank you to all those speakers tonight. I suppose before I wrap up and say goodbye to everyone, I just want to do the thank yous. I want to thank our Parenting Cavan coordinator, Nuala McKenna, for putting tonight's event together. She has worked tirelessly in the role, and to now have a strategy for the programme is a great credit to her and the commitment she has made to Parenting Cavan. I want to give special thanks as well to Steve Corrigan, our Cavan SIPSI coordinator, who has been a great support in preparing for tonight's event. Thank you also to Alan Ryan and Kevin from Youth Work Ireland, who provided the technical support for this launch tonight and for keeping everything moving along smoothly. Thank you to Barbara Cairns and the 2 participants in the Little Redo Like New project for collaborating with us on the participant support packs. And I also want to thank the members of the Parenting Cavan Expert Advisory Group, who are committed to the Parenting Cavan cause. Because with this strategy now, we have an ambitious and challenging piece of work ahead of us, but their support and contribution to Parenting Cavan is unwavering. I want to thank our speakers for contributing to tonight's event, and to thank everyone for making an effort to log in with us on a miserable Thursday evening. I won't hold you up anymore at this stage, because I know probably many of you want to get children to bed at this stage. So I just want to finish by giving our appreciation to our existing funders from TUSLA, Orla's Guiding Light, and from Healthy Ireland. And with that, I want to conclude our launch tonight, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, and all the best.
Thanks, Terry.
Good night, everyone.